Hello all, welcome to testingtools.co. Today in this session we will see some of the common mistakes that you should not do while taking an interview. And this is especially for the freshers. Okay, so this is coming out of a recent interview that I took where I felt it was not so much professional. So let us see a couple of questions which I asked, and I will also tell you what kind of response I received, and then I will explain whether you should respond this way or what else can be done or what better can be done. So this is one of the questions which I asked the person, that is, what is an abstract class in Java? Okay. So before saying what the person has actually responded, I would request you to pause the video and then give your response as what is an abstract class in Java in form of comments below the video. Okay. Now let me show you what the person has actually responded. It is quite unprofessional here. The person said that my trainer did not explain this to me. So first thing you have to understand, this interview is not about your trainer. This is about you. You could either say that I don't know about this, I will learn about it, or maybe if you have any little understanding, you can say that I have forgotten about this and I would like to just give you some response which I remember, right? And then you can give your response. Okay, so that might be a little more better than saying that my trainer did not explain this to me. Now let us see the another question which I asked. So what I asked was, tell me a program or maybe an algorithm to print a factorial of a given number. I think this is the most common question that will be asked in a programming interview, especially when you are a fresher, right? So again, I request you to pause the video here and then give your response in form of comments in below the video. Okay. Now let us see what the person has actually responded. The response was, I did not prepare for this question. So here, first thing you have to understand that this is not where you will be asked for the questions which you have prepared only. This is the place where the interviewer will basically try to understand, even if a question is posed to you which you are not aware of, what kind of approach you will do, what kind of solution you will try to give, right? These are the things that interviewer will look at. Even if it's a small question and easy question, and if you don't know, you should first ask, what is this actually? For example, if you don't know what is a factorial, right? Then you can ask the interviewer saying that what is a factorial? And then maybe the interviewer will explain you what actually is a factorial. Now by understanding the meaning of factorial, try to see how you do it if you have to do manually, right? For example, factorial here, say if I give a number called 5, so what I should do, I should basically be multiplying the numbers from 5 to 1, that is 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So you now understand what's the factorial. Now you have to tell a kind of explanation as how will you write or an algorithm, how will you achieve this particular value, right? So this is what an interviewer will look at, even if you don't know the syntax. But if you can give an pseudocode, they call it as pseudocode also, right? It's like a normal English. So this is how the pseudocode looks. Here you are not worried about what is the syntax, what programming language you are basically writing the program. It is more about how the logic runs in your brain, right? So what you have to do here in order to find a factorial. So what I did, I first took a variable called n where we will store the number for which we will find out a factorial. Okay. And then we will have another variable called prod. So this variable will contain the final factorial, that is after calculations what is the value that has to be present, right? So that will be present in the variable prod. Now the next step is, okay, now I have to decrement the value 5 till 1 and then I have to multiply each of these numbers to the new number. Like for example 5, so the first one should be 5 and then it should multiply with the one number less, that is 4. Similarly one number less, 3. So these all should decrement one by one. So when you are doing a continuous operation in any programming language, there are some looping structures. Like in Java, it will be for loop or while loop or do while, right? So all these can be used. Now here what I wrote, I am not writing the actual syntax. I am just writing that loop from I is equal to 1 to n, right? So here what I am assuming that, okay, as part of the loop, maybe I will be writing a statement like I is equal to I minus 1 or I minus minus, which will help to decrement the value of I by 1. Okay. Now inside the loop, what you should do? So inside the loop, what you are going to do is you are going to multiply these numbers, right? And store it in prod. So what I am doing here, first I am assigning the new variable which is decremented into j, and then that j I am multiplying it to prod. So when the loop runs for the first time, the I will be n, that is 5. So j will become 5, and then after that I am saying prod into j. So here very important thing is the prod should be initialized with a value 1. If you initialize with 0, prod becomes 0, and whatever you multiply with 0 becomes 0. So it is very important that you put prod is equal to 1. So now 1 into 5, which becomes 5. Now the loop has continued and went up. Now I has become 4. So now j has become 4. Now what will happen to prod into j? Initially it was 1. In the first iteration it became 5. Now the prod is having 5. So now 5 into 4, that becomes 20. Right? So now the new value in prod is 20, that is 5 into 4. Now this loop continues until the I becomes 1, and it keeps on multiplying with 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. And finally we are printing the value of the prod. So this is how you are translating your logic that is present in your brain in form of plain English. So this is called a pseudocode. Now even if you tell this kind of an answer, it is pretty good, because the interviewer will understand that at least the person has some logical thinking, and the person needs to maybe learn some syntax to see how he can translate his logical thinking into program. So I would say that do not make these blunders, right? These two answers which I received actually made me reject the person then and there. Okay. So do not try to put something on others. It is about you. What is that you are trying to do to crack the interview, right? Even if you don't know what is a right solution, right? Think logically. You can actually ask for time. Even in the interview, you can ask for the interviewer that can I take 2 minutes or 1 minute to think about it, right? Take the time, and then after that, what you will do? Think or have a paper or a pen, and then start writing what you know and what you have to do, and then tell that okay, this is how I will do, this is what we have to do. Even if the syntax is wrong, it is fine, you have to just explain it properly. So these are the two mistakes that I have observed recently, and I wanted to share with you people so that you will not make these kind of mistakes during your interviews. So I will be making more and more videos where what kind of mistakes you should not do. These are from the experiences I had when taking interviews. I hope this will help you to understand how to give an interview more effectively, and then what an interviewer basically thinks about you, right? Even if you don't know, how you can still make the interviewer think that okay, he has some logical thinking and he can learn and then make things. So if you see that you are getting some value from this video and you like, I would request you to first click on that like button, and then if you do not want to miss any future videos, I would request you to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. Thank you so much.